What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now, you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to see this one, as it looks like we're finally seeing Donald Trump striking back against these whack jobs on the set of ABC's The View after suggesting that Donald Trump used racial slurs in the past. Guys, I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not hop straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
What made you decide to come out about it now?
Well, first of all, it's my story.
Right.
Told in a way, I'm really the only one that was with Donald during his formative years, through his business career, and through his time in the
Mary
White
was
House. No, I mean, I was close with Donald. He was the first guy who put a golf club in my hand.
I see.
But all in the family was really to honor my father, Freddie, Donald's older brother, who was a caring, charismatic guy. And my son, William, a child with complex disabilities, who is the most courageous and inspirational person I have ever met. And he opened the door for me to advocate on behalf of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. To tell their story, I needed to tell the story of the Trump family.
Right.
Complex, sometimes cruel. You know, every family is complicated. Every family has their crazy uncle at the Thanksgiving table. Donald's atomic crazy. And I've seen it firsthand how he's evolved from crazy to atomic crazy.
Wow.
And I was thinking recently, I wish I had come out earlier with this book, because the outpouring of people saying what we are doing to help the disabled has been overwhelming. So I wish I had done that instead of, what we did was important, but.
Well, you did it.
When it was the right time, you got there.
Yeah.
But your late father, Fred Trump Jr., was the eldest of Donald Trump's siblings. He passed away in his early 40s due to complications from alcoholism. Since this is the first time Americans are really hearing from you, you know, you mentioned that your uncle was the first one to put a golf club in your head. How close were you?
Oh, it was very close. Yeah. He was my trustee when my father passed away. That didn't work out so well, but...
Well, you can't trust him, that's why.
Right, he took
Here
your
we go.
inheritance.
See what I did? I let you in on it.
You did.
He took your inheritance. You guys hear Sonny? She's so hopped to hop on that hate train of Donald Trump, trying to argue that this guy, Donald Trump, stole this man's inheritance money. I'm sure that did not happen. You didn't even hear Fred backing that one up or saying, yeah, he did, because it's just so phony. It's so false. These ladies would get up there and say anything if it smears Donald Trump's name. Ugh.
But no, we were close. Whenever I would call him, even when he was in the Oval Office, he would answer. He'd leave me messages with for me and my family on New Year's Eve. You know, hi, this is your favorite president calling, wishing all. So we were close.
But you call yourself a different kind of Trump, which sounds a little more like maybe your dad.
Oh, I'm definitely like my father. There's no doubt. The good and the bad. Dad, again.
The good and the bad. So it sounds like Donald Trump has been nothing but nice to his nephew, Mr. Fred Trump, but he's coming out here trying to slam him on the set of ABC's The View. It's so sad to see what people do. They try to boost their name up there and likeness. This is not the way, my guy.
He was a very caring guy who unfortunately wanted to live a dream and was crushed by his father, my grandfather, with Donald piling on. And
Stop it.
That was tragic, because if Dad saw what I was trying to do now, he would have been the biggest fan of it. And he would have been out there.
But Gramps wouldn't have been.
No.
Well, and I want to kind of ask about that. You spent a lot of time analyzing your uncle in the book, and you say that, you know, this bombastic political force he became, you attribute that to a lot of your family dysfunction. You say your family put the fun in dysfunction. Is the Donald Trump you grew up with the same man you see now? And how did his family influence this figure that we now know him as?
He was always driven. Always driven. In fact, people have said, you know, this story is kind of like a Succession story, the television show. I said, No, in that, all three of the siblings wanted to take over from the father. My dad didn't want that. My dad's dream was to become an airline pilot, which he did. Donald and my grandfather disparaged him for that. In fact, Donald called him a glorified bus driver.
I don't know. And you just, it's hard to believe this, like the timing of him coming out. Also, his dad was, we got to mention it, a raging alcoholic. So he's saying that he takes everything from his dad, the good and the bad. Are we also saying this guy was a raging alcoholic as well? He is as well. I would like to know that, because it sounds to me like Fred and his father were the dysfunctional part of the Trump family, but he's telling it from a different side, trying to make himself look better.
Wow.
So,
Jealous.
well, I'd like to see Donald, or maybe I wouldn't like to see Donald fly a plane.
No.
But Donald was always a driven guy, hated to lose. So when he's called a loser, that drives him nuts.
Oh, let me ask you this, because back in the 70s when you were a preteen, you write about hearing your uncle Donald Trump use the worst racial slur twice while ranting to you about his car being damaged. And you're not the first person to claim that Donald Trump trafficked in this kind of language, right? Though he continues to deny it. Do you have any doubt that you heard that slur?
I was there. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Twice he used the N-word. Now, to put it into context, and what troubles me even more than that is that he did not know who slashed the roof of his Eldorado.
He assumed.
He assumed.
Yeah.
It was
That
the
is-
more revealing
Stop
part.
it.
And interesting, Sonny, about the same time, I had a bike stolen. I grew up in Jamaica. We all grew up in Jamaica, Queens. Me in Jamaica, them and my grandparents and Donald, my father, in Jamaica States. Regardless, I had a bike stolen by 3 black kids. And unfortunately, my dad wasn't around at the time, so the police called and said, "We found your bike." My mom asked Donald if he could go to the police station with me. And they had this kid, and I remember he was my age. And Donald he absolutely wanted to see this kid put in jail. And as wise as I possibly could be at 10 years old, I said, I don't want to ruin this kid's life. Just think of what that's going to do to
Stop
this kid.
lie.
You know,
Oh my, you could almost see the lie on this man's face. I find this very hard to believe, just because the position he's in. Sounds like this guy took his ticket up onto the show ABC's The View in order to sell this book of his. That's all I've been realizing throughout this segment. What is going on?
10 years old, I said, I don't want to ruin this kid's life. Just think of what that's going to do to this kid. You know, I got the bike back. I'm fine with it. Flash forward 17 years later, Central Park 5.
Yeah, wow.
5 kids who were found, were exonerated.
Yeah.
He screamed out for the death penalty in a full-page ad.
Full-page ad in the Times, yeah.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Talk about craziness. We just seen the apparent nephew of Donald Trump, Fred Trump, trying to get up there on ABC's The View and say that Donald Trump said some very harsh things towards other races in his past, and he's witnessed it all. But I don't know. I want to say, you know, maybe because he's nephew, he has credibility, but then at the same time, I just don't. I find it hard to believe the timing of it all, especially with him and this book thing. They tried to force that down our throat the entire time. I'm not sure if he's doing this for, you know, book sale shock value, or if he truly seen something. Guys, hop in the comment section. You guys got to let me know. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys know on this, but also make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.